everyone, it's Laurie from Cook Scrap Craft, and I've got another process video for you this week. This is another installment in my Scrapbook and Cards Today inspiration series, and I am using a 2-page layout that I think was in the summer issue because I haven't finished working my way through that, being inspired by it. And this is from Victoria Calvin. Her 2-page layout was called Here's the Scoop, and it's got 7 photos on it, which I really, really liked because all of our photos from the summer, like from summer vacation, I tend to have a lot of photos for one event. And so I really liked that 7 photos were being put on this 2-page layout, and it's a 2-pager. And it was really cool. And she's got some cool like paper rolling technique going on at the top of hers. I end up not totally following the placement, the photo placement, the embellishment placement, but the overall idea, the overall inspiration is there. So I'll go through it with you as I go through it in this process video. I am using the Simple Stories Into the Wild collection. I purchased a collection pack from scrapbook.com, and so I have a lot of papers. It came with chipboard embellishments and sticker embellishments, and I'm still making my way through it. The only things that I have added to the kit for the purposes of this layout are the 2 background 12 by 12 pattern papers, and those are from Keep It Simple that I got from last year's Stamp and Scrapbook Expo. And that's sort of a wilderness type themed collection as well. So the brown paper, it's kind of got like a tree bark pattern going on it. It's not a natural wood grain, but it reminds me of a tree bark. And so I just grabbed those because they were dark brown, and I thought the color of that went well with, the browns, the undertones of this Into the Wild collection. So obviously it's a zoo themed collection, and I've been using it a lot for lots of zoo photos. We still have a whole bunch, and I'm actually gonna take the leftovers from this kit and start making some general layouts without photos so that I have stuff ready to go for the next time we go to the zoo. I had already cut down some of the photos into 4x4 squares, and I realized that was a little too big still. So I ended up cutting them down into 3.5 by 3.5 squares because otherwise they just would have taken up way too much space on the page. I'm not sure what size Victoria's squares were. Obviously you could go smaller, or depending on what you're doing, you could go bigger. I think if I had a 4x6 photo that was horizontal, it would have been a lot easier to match Victoria's layout. As it was, I had a 4x6 that was vertical, and I did cut it down a smidge, just a little bit, but not too much because I didn't want to cut off too much of the zoo sculpture statue that was in the photo. And these are zoo photos from the St. Louis Zoo that we went to in August when I was back home visiting my dad. It's a really great zoo. You've probably heard me talk about it multiple times in some of these process videos. It's free. It's huge. Obviously, there are some paid attractions that you can do extra, like the Stingray touch tank. I think the carousel. I don't know if you have to pay to ride the train. I don't think so. But yeah, it's a really cool zoo. And so every time we're there, if the weather's nice, whether it's in the summer or over like Christmas, they do, the Christmas zoo lights. We always try to go. So I am doing a similar design to what Victoria did. On the bottom, I've got a pattern paper, and then I use the branding strip from the Keep It Simple paper to go on top of that. And then I've taken a different pattern paper and I have paper rolled. I don't know. I mean, I've only seen what Victoria's looks like in the magazine. I haven't seen it in person. And I don't know specifically, there were no instructions. So I don't know exactly how she rolled the paper. I tried to use, like a pen or my, what's it called? My scoring board tool. And it just seemed I was making the curls were too big. So I ended up trying to curl them by hand. Some of them are a little flatter than others. I don't think it's really going to make much difference because they're just going to get flattened in a page protector. But it does add a different type of visual interest, I think. And it was something different to try. I've never done this before. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done some paper rolling on your scrapbook layouts before. I don't know if it's something I would do again, but like I said, it was something different to try. And that was definitely part of the inspiration from the Scraplift. You can see though that you can see up at the top the first side of Victoria's layout and how I am not doing the same placement with the photos and everything. Because again, I have a horizontal photo, and then it just takes up too much space going up and down, and there's not enough space for the 3.5 squares down at the bottom. So I'm just kind of doing my own little design here, and I'm going to map the square photos on some pattern paper. Basically just kind of using some of the leftover paper from the collection. And I've got a journaling square, or a cut apart, I guess, going behind the zoo photo. And I've got a couple stickers down there as well, a mixture of the chipboard and the flat stickers. And I'm just going to kind of layer things up a little bit. I'm actually running low on adhesive as I complete this layout. So you will get to see me make a pivot at one point and actually start using glue dots instead of my double-sided adhesive. So I kind of like the way that this looks. I've got the middle photo matted with a different pattern paper than the other two photos because I kind of want that one to stand out a little bit more. That middle photo is my daughter on the statue of Phil the gorilla, which has been a mainstay at the zoo. There was a gorilla named Phil, and I think he died. This was a long, long, long time ago, but ever since I was a kid, back in the 80s, they've had this zoo, they've had this Phil the gorilla statue. And so it's kind of a tradition. Everybody comes, gets their picture taken with Phil. Kids can climb on it. It's really cute. And so obviously we have to take a picture every time. This time I didn't get in the picture with my daughter. I don't think she wanted me in the picture. But she was able to, climb up it herself. And it's a really cool St. Louis tradition. So I'm just getting a couple of these other pieces down. The Life's a Zoo banner chipboard sticker, I did not add an extra piece of adhesive to, but I did add an extra piece of adhesive to Hello Adventure. Sometimes those chipboard pieces, they just don't stick very well. So I have yet to find a manufacturer that makes super sticky chipboard stickers. Nothing against Simple Stories because I really like them. They're probably one of my favorite manufacturers. I really like Simple Stories. I do like Echo Park, although I don't like all of their collections. But I think Simple Stories consistently has collections that I like. I like Pink Fresh too. I like Cocoa Vanilla, but it's really hard to find because number one, not everybody carries it. They're an Australian company, and some people have stopped carrying it because it's so hard to get it to go through customs. And the people who do carry it, as soon as it goes in stock, it's all completely gone because everybody's obsessed with Cocoa Vanilla. So I haven't worked with that company in a really long time. So yes, Simple Stories is kind of my go-to. And I guess American Crafts. American Crafts is like a scrapbook monopoly. They own a lot of scrapbook brands. It's oh, I really like this. Oh, it's owned by American Crafts, which is not a bad thing. I'm just saying. And I think I've said this before many years ago. It's a monopoly. And so, whatever. I think a lot of them have, because isn't Echo Park also part of Photoplay? I thought I think they're owned by the same company. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But when you see an Echo Park paper pad and you see a Photoplay paper or paper collection, it's they're packaged up so similarly. It's they're almost the same thing, but they're different companies, but they're the same company. Anyway, enough about that. So now I'm on to the second page, and I already went ahead and adhered down the pattern papers and did the paper rolling, so you didn't have to see me do that again. It's the same thing. And I like making symmetrical 2-pagers. You don't have to do a symmetrical 2-pager if you don't want to, but I like doing it. And just having the pattern paper at the bottom and the top makes it really easy to get everything lined up because you're just hey, I'm going from the bottom up or the top down. You don't have to worry about, oh, hold on, let me get the other piece of paper and make sure that the pattern paper on the right side lines up with the pattern paper on the left side. Not that that's that big of a deal, but you'd be surprised at how wonky the papers can be, and how you're like, oh, this totally lines up, and then you put them back together again and you're like, wait, no, this didn't line up at all. Again, not that that's a problem, especially if you're putting them in page protectors, because nobody's going to see them directly together anyway. But just, hashtag 2-page problems, right? So I'm using different pattern papers to map the square photos on this side, and I kept these photos to 3.5 by 3.5 squares as well. I just didn't have enough of the same pattern papers from the first page for this one, so I'm using like a cheetah print, which was like really hard to cut into because the other side had cut aparts, like journaling square cut aparts, and I was like, oh, I really want to save these. I don't want to use the other side, but I needed to because I didn't have enough of other paper, and there were other papers that I didn't want to cut into too. Yeah, I wish that this paper collection, this paper kit, had come with 2 of each pattern paper, because some of them, like the tags and the cut aparts, I'm like, I don't want to use the pattern paper side because I really want to use the tags and the cut aparts, but sometimes you just got to do it, So here I've run out of the adhesive finally, and I need to make a stop, I guess at like Walmart, to get some more before I make another scrapbook.com order, because I've already gotten my March haul at this point. Obviously, this is going up in March. So anyway, I'm using glue dots to stick things down. That photo I'm popping up on some foam adhesive. It was leftover foam adhesive from when I made those shaker pockets last week. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. It's also part of my Scrapbooking with Circles playlist, so check that out if you need some inspiration on how to use the circle shape on your layouts. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing so and giving this video a thumbs up, because then you will always know when other process videos go live, and you'll get weekly inspiration here on the channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, and thanks so much for watching this video and all my videos. It's been a lot of fun being part of this YouTube community over the years, and seeing how it's grown, and also seeing how it's changed, and how some people have come and gone through the YouTube community, the YouTube Scrappy community, I guess. But I enjoy it, and I'm getting closer to 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully this year I can reach that milestone, because that would be really, really cool. So now I'm just trying to figure out some embellishments to add here. And again, not making this side look at all like the right-hand side of Victoria's layout. And that's okay, because I really just used her layout as inspiration. I've got the curled paper that was basically the same thing that she did. And I've got the 7 photos, and 6 of those photos are squares. So yeah, just using it as a jumping off point, kind of saying, well, I like this about this, and I like that about it, and I'm going to use those elements on here, but do it my own thing, make my own thing. And that's what I think is so great about doing scrap lifts, and especially just going through the Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. It's just getting that inspiration and seeing different things and being like, oh, I like that, or I want to try that. So I'm saying you could subscribe. I'm not getting paid to tell you that. I'm not a subscriber. I just pick up an issue anytime I make a scrapbook.com order and there's a new issue. They come out seasonally. So fall, winter, spring, summer, and it's usually free with your order. So I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, just saying, if you need some more inspiration, I like that magazine. So now I'm taking what was a cut apart, and I've cut it in to 2 pieces. So the top of it is at the top of that middle photo. It says Hello Adventure. And then the bottom of it, I ended up cutting into like a banner, because I just felt it was a little too long, and I wanted to be able to see more of the pattern paper at the bottom. And then I'm going to add 2 little journaling banner spots kind of going underneath it, just overlapping. And then I am going to go back and do the journaling in that journaling spot. That's why it's there. I just needed to remind myself of the dates for when these photos were taken. And also, I know I have done, these are not the only photos from this zoo trip. So I think I have done another layout using other photos from this zoo trip. So I need to go back, and I need to see what I wrote about on that layout before I write the exact same thing on this one. So it'll all come together. I'm not ready to put these in an album yet, because surprise, surprise, I don't have an album. That's something I need to work on for 2023. I've gotten all my up to April 2022 layouts in an album. So I still have May and onward. So that's a lot of albums. I think I have a Michael's Rewards voucher that I need to use. And I usually use those on the scrapbook layouts, because you save $5 on something that's normally like 25 or 30. So I'll take the savings where I can get it. I'm adding in a couple of these stickers that I believe I got in the mail from Paper Crafting with Rebecca, another really fun scrapbooking and card making channel. Check her out. And I just thought they were a good color fit for this paper collection. And what I really wanted was enamel dots, and I didn't have any enamel dots. So I'm like, oh, hey, you know what? I think Rebecca sent me some stickers. I should go through and use them. And I'm just using these little star stickers as I would enamel dots. I got a little stuck on this side trying to figure out like the best placement for them because I already had embellishment clusters on this side. And I didn't want to like have too many. But I think I figured it out. And they're paper stickers. I'm not even sure where she got them from, but she sent them to me in the mail, which is very nice of her. And so I'm glad I was able to use them on this layout. So like I said, this is a 2-page layout. I actually think that this side of the page, the way I did the design, would be a totally fine just 1-page, single-page layout. So if that's something, if you're like, I don't do 2 pages, well, just pick a side and make it a single page. I think that's totally fine. But if you do do a 2-page layout, this is inspiration for you too. I've got some close-ups following so you can see things in a little bit more detail and get some idea of like dimension with the chipboard and the popped up photo and everything. And so I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions about things that I've used, techniques that I've done. Leave those below in the comments and I will definitely get back to you. Have a great day and I hope this was inspiring for you. Bye.